Welcome back to Coin Sense and Unsense. Today, we've got another 20 ounces to add to the guardhouse box or the albums or whatever the case may be. When you're trying to squeeze in 20 here without making it an epic, let's get right into it. So this one is another awesome enameled bar. Yes, another colored bar, poor man's stack. But it's a Seco bar, and their quality is really so good. And so had to pick this one up. I'm not sure I'm going to collect the entire birthday set. There's a lot of bars, but actually they started the set in October of 1973 and then did a full year of 74. It does have a serial number, 176. Get that one into a capsule. There we go. And here we are, Seco Mint, and there's the June 1 Seco 9. And down at the bottom there, so $25 rarity value. Next up is this interesting one from the Madison Mint, and this is a panda with cub or mother with cub. And there we go, Madison Mint. This one's in great condition, very reflective. There were two different reverses for this one. It was kind of tied in with Penthouse, their 15th anniversary. Let's check the book. So there we are, Madison 251. You can see there's the other reverse. Don't have that one. So 251 pandas with the cub. 1983, 2500 minted, and a $25 rarity value. Get that one into a capsule. So at one point I thought I was gonna try to collect all the Madison Mints, but there's too darn many. Next up is this pair from Mount Everest Mint, and these are for Christmas, 1974. You can see Peace on Earth and in several languages. Won't attempt to decipher it all, but this is the regular version, and then there's one they call, I think, a jeweled or bejeweled version, or with stone or whatever. So these are by Janice Boom, whoever that is. So proof 1974. So let's check the book. These are going to stay in the sleeve just so I don't mess with the stone, and I think they're just too high relief for capsules. So I've got an album for these. Here we are, Mount Everest Mint Christmas releases for 1974, and Mount Everest 62, and made with or without the diamond. And there we go, Peace Bar, and both 1974, and very low mintage. And look at the rarity value on that one, $90 with the diamond. So very, very nice. And for anyone who's curious, this is the book I'm using, and rarity value is generally considered spot plus that amount if there's a dollar amount. And this book was published in 2007. Next up, we're back to Madison Mint, and this is obviously Graduation, 1974. And Madison Mint made several with the same basic design and just changed the date. And why not? And so I'm hoping I don't already have this one. Gotta check the, ooh, snapping. Gotta check the old guardhouse box when I put this away. If I've already got it, that would be tragic. Here are the Graduation bars, 73, 4, and 5. So what is that? Madison 34. It's hard to read sometimes through the camera. There's a few bloopers. So 1974, no varieties, 10,004 minted, and rarity 3. So when you get into the rarity with a number, it's kind of like so many dollars over spot. And another great Madison Mint bar is this Mother's Day 1974. And I know I don't have this one, so that's safe. Get that one put away. Here we are, Madison 105 with a crumb bum image. So 105, there is a variety with a different reverse. We'll check. So it's either inverted reverse, reads up or reads down. 12,004 minted, and the rarity value is the same no matter which reverse you've got. Next up is a bar from a mint that I really like. This is Crabtree Mint, and this one they do make varieties of. I've got the standard one, but they do make one with the reverse divided into thirds. That would be cool. And so let's check the book. Here we go, Crabtree 24. And that's the variety we needed. But anyway, so 24, I Love You, made in 1975. And so I've got the regular reverse. And look at the rarity value if I had the variety, 35. Get that into a capsule. Feels a little wide, but it fits a little snug. There we go. Next up, we've got these seasonal bars, and these are pretty cool. So this completes the set. There's 4, winter, spring, summer, and fall. And so these were the last 2 that I needed to complete the set of Coinerama City. And this was a coin shop in Hawthorne, California, and they commissioned these bars. And this one, I think, needs a little attention there, maybe a little dipsky. But happy to have these to complete the set. Let's check the book. So Coinerama City, you can see the spiel up at the top. I do have some of these other bars. And so there is the summer and winter. And come down here. They're all the same mintage, 2,500 each. But the rarity value, pretty decent, $30 a whack. Get those put away. At least the winter one will stick in the capsule pending the cleanup. All right, I think we're done with the portrait bars. Next up, we've got a couple from Mount Everest Mint. This is from something called the Wildlife Tree. Squirrel! So, love this one. Been holding on to this for a while till I got a couple of the others. Well, actually, I only got 1 of the others. So far, there are 6 in the set. And they each have their special reverse here. So, this is the first annual Mount Everest Mint Wildlife Tree. It was the last annual as well. Check the book. We are Wildlife Tree, and you can see the 6 different designs. Well, you can hardly see some of them. The image quality is not so great. This is like a reproduction of the book, I'm sure. So I got woodpecker with 44 and the squirrel 48. All made in 1974. All had 6,300 minted, but decent rarity value, $35. Next up, we've got a couple from the Patrick Mint, and love the Patrick Mint. They have kind of a short catalog, I would say. A lot of patriotic or early Western style themes, and so this is the covered wagon. And what's cool about Patrick Mint is they have several different reverse varieties, and some are more collectible than others. So if it seems like I've got some doubles, like this one, I showed off in a recent video. Actually, I still have it right here. So this one was collectible because it has that produced in 1973 by, and this one is, I think, type 2, or I'm not sure. Let's check the book. All right, I was wrong. It's type 1 that I have. You can see the various styles, and the other Model T I have is type 4. Right here is Patrick 5, and that's the Model T. And so we have the different reverse varieties, but I said that one was type 1. And so what is that? 52.66 minted and an $18 rarity value. And that's compared with this other one, the type 4. And that's a $45 rarity value, which is cool. And then, so this covered wagon and the reverse variety I have is type 3, and that's 10,742 minted and $18 rarity value. And here are some of my other Patrick Mint, and so yeah, those don't fit into capsules, so I gotta put them in the Whitman album, but we're chock full. We gotta figure out some space here. Next up is another cool Labor Day bar. This one, we're back to Mount Everest Mint, but got some cool imagery there. I think that's supposed to be Grover Cleveland signing the thing into law, and very, very cool. Well, duh, it says right there, President Grover Cleveland. So, woohoo, 1894. So in the beginning, it was just a federal holiday, and I think it wasn't until the 1930s that the holiday applied to everyone, or almost everyone. Get that into a capsule. Yeah, I really love all the cool, I don't know what you want to call them, but vignettes or whatever of different types of labor. It is Mount Everest 10, and just actually there is a broad stroke variety, and I think we would know like kind of be off center and whatnot. So 4150 minted and rarity value 3. Next up is a very interesting bar. This is from a mint called Limited Issue, and there it is, Limited Issue Bars Incorporated, and number 225, and it says that there's 1,000 minted on the back, but the good book has different ideas. Wow, we got some fingerprints. Not sure we want to dip this one. It's in pretty good shape overall, except for the fingerprints, but yeah, that is that is one of my things there, not into the fingerprints. So let's check the good book. We are limited issue bars, and that one is limited issue 4, and anniversary of freedom, made in 1973, and only 300 minted, they say, and $45 rarity value. So don't know if there are more than 300, but since I have a serial number under 300, it's kind of plausible. Let's put this in a capsule and shut up. Good. So fixated on the fingerprints, forgot to talk about the subject here. So we had Israel, 25 years in 1973, and then the bicentennial in 1976. So very cool anniversaries of freedom. Or at least we hope. Get it into a capsule. I have another limited issue bar that doesn't fit into a capsule, the Watergate Hotel one. It's pretty cool. In fact, I got it right there. So that is limited issue as well. Next up is another anniversary bar of sorts, and this one is to celebrate the 10th anniversary of JFK passing, and so November 22nd, 1963, and this one has no identifying marks on the reverse, and so when I saw this at the LCS, I thought it looked interesting enough to take a shot, and my curiosity paid off, and this is part of something called Medallic Craft, and they only had 2 bars. These were struck for the Saga Bar Club, which is now defunct. And so here's mine, Medalla 2, and it was distributed by the Colony Coin Shop. And here we are. So 1973, 2,300 minted, and a $25 rarity value. Get that into a capsule. That one might need a dip. I don't know. We got the number of bars is really adding up. I'm going to have a big dipski session upcoming here, I think, this weekend. Next up, we've got a couple from the Justice Mint. And so this is part of their Inventor series, and this one looks like it's in great shape. Alexander Graham Bell, and so this one has inverted reverse. Don't know if that's a thing or not, but we shall see. And also, it's got kind of a weird, I don't know, that seems broad struck if there was such a thing, but let's see if there's any, because it's got kind of a flange there. That is wild. That's not going to fit in a capsule. And then we've got, and actually his head looks funny, but I think that's just the way it is. So this is Eli Whitney, and I believe that's is that the cotton gin? I don't know. I forget my history at the moment. That's pretty sad. So 1765 to 1825, and this one also inverted reverse. Let's see if that's a thing. So here is the set, and so we've got Justice 4 and Justice 6. So Justice 4, Eli Whitney, no varieties. Type 1A, which is an inverted reverse, and Rarity 4. And then for Alexander Graham Bell, there is a variety, and so I do have the variety, but I think I've also got an error. It's not listed here, but that's it's not normal. But just for the heck of it, let's see. No, it's binding. No. So that'll have to go in an album. How about this one? Some of the other, I have a Justice, let me see if it fits in the alternate capsule. Yeah, that'll work. So yeah, I get some other style capsules at the coin shows, and it works for some of these troublemaker bars. But yeah, this one definitely not gonna make it. Right, coming down the home stretch, 2 left, and I saved these till the end for a reason. So this is Shields Mint, and kind of a generic style bar. In fact, this is found in the miscellaneous section and has kind of a unique style reverse. We'll go to the book in a minute here, but let's tell the story on this one. This is capital G&A Mint, and there also is an entry in the miscellaneous section for this one. However, I've got a telltale reverse, and you really can't tell based on this. It almost looks like Doyle's Coin Palace design. However, so here is the entry for the Capital Mint in the miscellaneous section, and it says see Pioneer Mint, which we will do in a moment. But this is the reverse for the one in the miscellaneous section, and it says see SHM1 reverse. SHM1 is that Shields Mint that I have, and it's got the same reverse. However, this one, like I say, Pioneer. Let's go there. Actually, let's check this first. Duh. So SHM1 Shields Mint, and no mintage data, but a $20 rarity value, which is pretty nice. Here we are, Pioneer Mint. And I think this is another mint where I might be able to collect all the different designs. I've got a lot of already. Love that periodic table, Jackson Precious Metals. But anyway, we're here for this one, Pioneer 6. And so Pioneer 6, capital G&A Mint, 1981, type 1, and a rarity of 3. Let's get that into a capsule. Ooh. Same for the Shields Mint. And so I'll have to put these in the guardhouse box on another installment. Kind of out of space here, waiting for some more boxes to come. So I thank you so much for watching Coin Sense and Nonsense. And until next time, bye. Bye. Some of the on-deck bars for AGAU Addict. And I guess these are more for Mark. So Mount Everest 42, and that's a 62. Man, Mother's Day. Wow, that picture is, or the image is really rough on that one. So 105, and so I've got the Type 1 reverse, 5266 minted, and $18 rarity value. Excuse me. And then the fuck. So it's got a neat design. It's kind of hard to see because it's so reflective. There we go. So Israel, 25 years. Oh, shit. I left these for last for a reason, or till last for a reason. I said 4 too many times. Shit. Pioneer Mint is kind of, a short, wait, chef,